heroes. Another hero I want to bring in to the picture is a little more well known, King David. My guy. When he was established as king, it was the custom of the day for a new king to now go and kill any of the offspring of any of his enemies. Okay, you just do that off the top because they're a threat later on for obvious reasons. Well, when David became king finally, one of Saul, who tried to kill David his entire life, one of his grandkids was still alive. And it was the son of Jonathan. And Jonathan was dead. King Saul was dead. His son was probably living in fear. Mephibosheth is his name. And but King David had made a promise to Jonathan, because Jonathan was his friend in life, and he made a promise to him, and he honored that, we're going to see, by not just allowing this Mephibosheth to live, but also inviting him to his table. We talk about putting your neck out there. Okay? Let's read. This is in 2 Samuel chapter 9, and it's verses 1 through 8. David asked, "Is there anyone still left in the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Now there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba. They summoned him to appear before David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" "At your service," he replied. The king asked, "Is there anyone still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. Ziba answered, "He is at the house of Machir, son of Amiel, in Lo-debar." So King David had him brought from Lo-debar, from the house of Machir, son of Amiel. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he bowed down to pay him honor. David said, "Mephibosheth, at your service," he replied. "Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down and said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" We come up with different reasons why David was called a man after God's own heart, but I think this displays it. David was a man of integrity. He was a man of compassion, even though he was known for killing his 10,000s, and to kill one more person probably would not have been, he wouldn't have lost too much sleep over it. But what did he do? He chose life. He honored his promise. And I believe that even though David was acquainted with death, he valued life greatly. And as a result, we know him as a man after God's own heart. But I was thinking about King David, and like, to have this guy who's actually a risk to your kingship and your life at his table for the rest of his days. What a stand-up guy, man. What a stand-up guy, King David. Sometimes when we put ourselves out there, there's some risk involved. But what has God called us to? At a bare minimum as Christians, is to live a life of integrity. We're to live a life of integrity, and sometimes that means putting our neck on the line.